Hi, everyone. This is Antonio Muñiz. Welcome to the next episode of LatProXperience, when we talk about entrepreneurial success through the Latino lens. Today, I don't think I need to introduce you anymore because people should know you by now and they're
Always
excited to
should.
see you.
You always should. Reintroduce myself or yourself by myself. I don't know.
We're going to do it anyway. I'm happy to have a conversation again with my friend, your friend, our friend, the one and only Johanna Murillo. Qué gusto verte. So great to see you, Johanna.
Thank you, Antonio. Same. The feeling is mutual. Look at us, all looking nice, great, and the first time in the morning.
I know. Little do they know that it's 5 a.m, right?
Yes, exactly.
Fantastic. So, listen, it's been a little bit since you and I spoke, at least publicly like this.
Correct.
And let's take this opportunity to catch each other up a little bit and then talk about what's coming in the next few weeks, because we're approaching Hispanic Heritage Month. So that's going to be the overall theme of today's conversation. But tell me about what's been going on since the last time we spoke.
A lot has been going on, a lot of reconfiguring, figuring out as well what's the best avenue. Because yes, like we were talking in our very, very early start of the year time, we had the last conversation. We had a roadmap of what we wanted to do, which is great, but always things happen and circumstances take place that force you to, okay, perfect. This is what I tried. This doesn't work. This works, and let's invest in what works more. But as we are focusing today, speaking about the Hispanic Heritage Month, which for those who do not know, it's a celebration that takes place in the United States where the whole tapestry and the landscape of the Hispanic and Latino influence in this country is doing to propel the economy, the culture, you name it, the heritage from all the beautiful countries that cover what means to be Hispanic or Latino. So for me, this was a celebration that I didn't realize, of course, until I moved here. And what I saw is that, and we've had this discussion in private, so now we're taking it out to the public, where at least I saw, it was very focused in the dance, food, nothing against it, like drinking. And what about our influence in the American market? And that was my first question. Why aren't we talking about the impact that leaders or even the community itself it's making in the business landscape as well? So with us being here in Orlando, for me, this was very important because I believe in representation, and you never know who is looking, I don't want to say up, but maybe, yeah, looking up and also down to you to use you as a base or a standard to equalize what it is being Hispanic. So with that being said, for me, it was important. Okay, let's find a way to be a positive representation. What better occasion than Hispanic Heritage Month, which, by the way, we're not Hispanics just 1 month of the year. We are Hispanics all year round. But this is an opportunity because there's a light shed to that fact, and we should take advantage of it. So with that being said, last year, and you, my friend, were there, we started the Hispanic Heritage celebration at no other place than at the Citrus Club, because it's one of the business landscapes here in Orlando. And also it was a space where traditionally Hispanics would not see themselves there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess that was the biggest issue. How can we change that narrative, break that wall, and say, hey, not only we belong here, we are here to stay, because it's everything like you see in the media, all the negativity and the negative representation. There's people out there in positions of high leadership that are doing great things for this community, are doing great things overall for the economy, in the business, in the community, also in the political, not to get too political about it, aspect. So why don't we showcase, celebrate, and encourage everyone that is making an impact, not only the new generation, the current generation like ours, or the people that paved the way for us to be here, which is the legacy, which is also important. So with that being said, that's the thing that I have more upcoming and really excited about and looking forward, because this year is going to be bigger and better.
Yeah, looking forward to it myself. We talked about this before. I think that I know that there are different aspects or facets to Latinidad, to what it is to be a
Correct.
Latino or Hispanic in the United States. And like you, I never knew that there was such a thing as Hispanic Heritage Month until I moved to the U.S. So it's easy to gravitate towards the things that we've always done, right? During that month, which is September 15th through October 15th, you see a light, a highlighting of gastronomy, of cultural, of dance, of customs, which are fantastic. And that's needed, and it should be celebrated, it should be shared, and it should be promoted. And that's the real point of Hispanic Heritage Month. Now, that being said, there are other facets, right? And it's up to us to highlight those facets, valga la redundancia, being redundant here.
Yes.
Things like how have Latinos, Latinas influenced, impacted, improved upon, or added to the culture in terms of sports, in terms of politics, in terms of community development, in terms of economic development. And that last one is the most important to me, because that's where I work every day, right? I'm a business owner. So are you. We work business owners. A lot of them are Latino owned, Latina owned, and there's not enough, in my opinion, representation of successful Latino and Latinas and who are business owners in the U.S. So it's up to us to highlight those accomplishments. It's up to us to highlight their impact, the impact of those before us, the impact of those doing it today, so we can inspire and show an example for the future impact makers, right? And somebody told me not too long ago, it says, I love simplicity. I'm really good at complicating things sometimes, but this is very, very simple. And he said to me, you can become what you cannot see. So that's why it's important to see the examples. That's why events like the celebration that you're talking about at the Citrus Club later in September those things are so important, because you want to see and learn from those that you aspire to become. So you can see yourself on stage. You can see yourself. You can learn about their stories and go on. Okay, they went from A to Z, or from A to M, Antonio to Muñiz, right? And and I'm at C, perhaps, right? I started at A, I'm at C, but there's a path to getting to where they are. And if I can learn what they have learned, and if I can learn through their experiences and not have to go through those experiences on my own, that makes the journey more likely to succeed. That makes the process, increases our chances of success. There's a lot of companies that start, but not a lot of companies that finish. It's very sexy to start a company. It's very sexy. But what staying, that's what's significant. There's a difference between sexy and significant, right? And staying and succeeding, that's what makes it significant. And those events like what you're talking about, especially during Hispanic Heritage Month, to highlight the success stories, are super, super valuable, because now we have more examples, more living and current examples of what is possible. So I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, so am I, because a wise man once told me there's always room for one more. Yes, because of course there are so many celebrations this month. It's jam-packed with events from the city, from different institutions. Everybody remembers that Hispanics are in town from September 15th, from October 15th.
Right.
Why another event? Because there's always room for one more. There's always room for representation and positivity. Are we going to keep with this initiative? We hope so. I mean, we will keep it as long as it's able and sustainable. But the idea is that you never know who are you going to impact with what you bring into the world. And remember, success has so many different faces and ways of what it is success. For some people, success it's just having their job and their 9 to 5, and that's perfect because that's also success. For some people, success it's like, you know what, I just want to work a couple of hours a day and I'm mighty fine with that so I can spend time with my family. Perfect, that's also success. For other people, success it's over 8 figures in your bank account, and that's perfect. But it's all about the positivity, being a positive representation of what it means to be a Hispanic in this community. And I'm also liking the economic aspect of it because I think you have the better numbers when it comes to this than I do. But we represent almost in Orlando 60% of the population. And this is Orlando and Metro Orlando. And I believe we have an economical impact of similar magnitude. So that's something that needs to be, shed a light to and be observed because it means that, okay, we're not just here to travel around Orlando and leave and then, just we came from Mickey Mouse and Harry Potter. No, we are here creating, amplifying businesses, especially Latinas or Hispanic women are one of the ones that open more businesses. Nothing against our fellow and lovely men. It's just that it shows that there's a passion and grit to build something and keep going and starting a business that eventually is going to attract more business and it's going to bring more people in.
Yeah, the numbers are amazing. And just going off memory here, there's 31.5 million small businesses in the US and something like 6 million get started every year. That's astonishing number of new entrepreneurs. And I will tell you that the large majority across the U.S., this is not a Florida thing. Across the U.S., the ones who create the most new businesses are Latinas, not Latinos. And so those are the things that perhaps we need to share more so people become more aware that this is the reality. And why do we care about that? You may say, well, I'm not Latino. Why do I care about that? Well, because everything, for anything positive that can happen in this country is going to be driven by the Latino market. The U.S. cannot win without the Latino market. It's just too big. It's the largest economy in the world outside of Mexico. Okay, the largest Latino economy in the world outside of Mexico. There's only one other economy that is Latino that's big, and that's a country. So we're a country within a country, and we have an impact in all areas of life. And I think we need to celebrate that and understand that when the Latinos win, the U.S. wins. And when the Latinos suffer, consequently, the U.S. will suffer because we're such a large part and significant part of the overall economy. Not just, business, education, social services, politics, all of that stuff. But I want to focus on the economic impact because we hear the one story that we hear all the time, even outside of Hispanic Heritage Month, is the buying power of Latinos.
Yes.
It's $2 trillion, almost 70 million Latinos in the U.S., and we spend a lot of money. We buy a lot of goods and services. And that's great because 2/3 of the U.S. economy is consumerism, right? Is what we buy and sell. But what we don't talk about is the impact that we're doing on the supply side. The jobs that we create, the industries that we innovate, the economic engine, the products and services that we provide in the marketplace that everyone else is buying and consuming. And I want to shift the narrative to not just consumerism, because I don't want to be viewed just as a consumer. That means that everyone's trying to sell me something. I want us to be viewed as a partner, a potential partner, someone who say, wow, if I partner with Johanna, if I partner with Antonio, 1 + 1 will equal 5 because they bring a lot to the table. So it's not just I want to sell this other dress or this other shirt or this other purse or this other PC or laptop to Johanna, is because I see her as a potential partner. And
Yes.
that's a shift that is beginning to
Yeah.
happen, but is not as it's not an everyday thing. Not an everyday thing. And I think we should be. We should be talking about that.
Oh, absolutely. And also nothing against Hispanic businesses for Hispanic audiences, but I also believe, and I believe that's also been a part of the success that I've had, is that I have not focused only on my fellow Hispanic market. Quite the contrary. I've tried to incorporate and bring over the American market, whatever American is right now, right? But that market that oftentimes we are perceived as individuals, that we are not as committed, that we are not as formal, that there you go. Of course, Hispanic always arriving late, those little nuances that you
Mm-hmm.
get. But when you represent quite the opposite and you show them with your example, hey, that's a narrative that's not true. It needs to change. This is where we are right now. Like you say, we bring more to the table than just a racial card. We bring so much value. We can be your partner and help you accelerate your business journey. So with that being said, it's really important that we not only focus in like Hispanics for Hispanics, but also how can we contribute to the overall society here in this country. And yes, we need to bring people as we climb up, but also keep an eye on what's the end game. The end game is not just Latinos for Latinos, it's also Latinos for the entire country, for the entire community. And as suppliers, that's a great opportunity for us to put up products or services, yes, with the Latino spice.
Well,
Yes, but
it's an and game, right? It's an and
exactly,
game.
it's
It's
an
not
end
an
game.
or game. I think that the businesses that are playing the or game, this or that, they don't win.
Yes,
They don't win long term.
correct,
Those who
correct.
apply the and mentality, I'm going to
Mhm.
serve this and that. I want to provide this and that, and do it in the right order, right? Because when you try to do
Correct.
too many things at the same time, then you
Oh yeah.
dilute it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, and I understand because that was my first impression. Let's for everyone. Who do you cater? Everyone? No, not necessarily. First, this, and then okay, and then you start expanding. You need to start somewhere. So, like you were saying, from point A to M.
absolutely,
Well, oftentimes, yes, you need to start at least. Some people are not even leaving point A because out of fear of representation from the Hispanic perspective, I don't speak English or I speak English with an accent and they're going to make fun of me. Something that I've noticed in my small journey in this country is that a person that is not fluent in Spanish, or that it's fluent in English. Let me rephrase that. A person that is fluent in English, either they learned it through whatever, or they were born speaking English, and that was their first language. They will not make fun of you trying. Actually, quite the opposite. They will encourage you. They will support you. They would say like, "Oh, you know what? You say this in this way. It's the better phrase." And oh, thank you. So that's also a limiting belief.
it is.
I mean, it is. And if you want to excel and grow and be able to serve a wider and broader audience, us as Hispanics have to find a way, and this is my personal opinion, please, that we need to find a way to also incorporate ourselves into overall landscape and in economy, in business, and that comes with stepping out of our comfort zones.
Yeah, I mean that's what entrepreneurship is, right? If
Yes,
entrepreneurship entails staying in your comfort zone, everybody would do it because it's
yes.
comfortable. But
Everybody would sustain the pain, because it's because, like you said, starting it's sexy. I mean, I remember back in the day when I started, I was like, yeah, I got this, and then after a while it's like, oh, okay, I don't got this, I don't have any idea what I'm doing. How can I find myself in a way, in a position to figure this out? But entrepreneurship is not for everyone because, like you mentioned, it's starting it's sexy. But how can you sustain yourself in such a way that you don't sacrifice your own well-being and stay consistent to what you're putting out there in the world? I think that's the key. And also try to make some money while you're on it, right?
yeah, absolutely. And that's why we take this 4 weeks out of the year to put more energy into showcasing those examples of success, because we know it's not easy. It may look easy from the outside. It may look like almost like an overnight success. It will look like, oh, well, this person is lucky. It will look like, well, that person had the right background or the wrong background, or they have this or the other, and that's why they became successful.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
very
one thing.
easy
Who
to,
does she think it is?
right.
Another one, yes.
No, it's like watching the game from the stands, right? You're like, oh man, I would have thrown this pass the other way. That quarterback's an idiot. Yeah, well, you're not on the field, man. You don't know what it takes to make those decisions. So it's important to leverage this 4 weeks of Hispanic Heritage Month to highlight all areas of Latino contribution, Latino success, Latino impact, because that's the focal point, right? So we gotta take advantage of. We have to take advantage of those 4 weeks, and learn about those success stories, Latino success stories. I mean, there's so many around us, and sometimes we say, "Well, I never knew that." Well, you never knew that because they were never highlighted for whatever reason. You know, you never knew that here in Orlando, as just a simple example, because the guy's a really good friend of mine. A Puerto Rican guy, retired from the military, you know, and build this company from scratch, and technology company from scratch, and they do tens of millions of dollars a year, privately held, no investment, no outside investment, very little debt, lots of military contracts. So these are the things that are happening, and that's just one example. There are many examples. Some of the most successful restaurants based out of Central Florida that are owned by Latinos were not founded by a restaurateur person to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, it's their second act, and the second act in their career. They were X before, now they're Y. They saw an opportunity, they invested, now they have multiple locations, and they're very successful. So there are a lot of stories like that, and it's up to us to highlight them so they can become a beacon of opportunity, a beacon of an example, a beacon of hope of what is possible and what success looks like today. Not 50 years ago, but today. I'm not negating what happened 50, 60 years ago. That's important. But what's relevant to someone who's struggling right now, what's relevant to someone who's considering launching their own business right now, is what has happened in the recent past. Recent past for me is since 2010 or 2015. I mean, a 10-year span is really what I look at, because a lot of things happen. Just in the last few years, we've had a global pandemic. We have incredible inflation. We have the landscape of real estate change completely. So a lot of things continue to evolve, right? So that's why, to me, the most relevant are the recent examples of success, because those people, those Latinas and Latinos, had to go through some things that no one was prepared for.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. And now we have so many accesses to resources that before we didn't. It's not that we didn't have, but at least we weren't aware of, or we didn't even know what questions to ask, or if those were for me. Because something that I noticed is that in the recent years, Hispanics and Latinos feel more empowered to, okay, you know what, that's also for me. There's access to capital, there are grants, there is like this network or resource where I can learn how to start my business the right way. And they equip themselves to set themselves as well for success. While before it was more like a trial and error, let's throw something into the wall and see what sticks. But I believe that we have organized our way ourselves, at least in Orlando, and of course in the nation, but I can speak more to my closed door example. We have equipped ourselves to be able to, okay, I started this business, I did it successfully, let me share this knowledge. There are spaces such as the Hispanic Chamber that can always help you and be a resource. Also other entities such as Prospera. Hey, this is like a free advertising. I have not been paid for this, but I can attest.
I have not gotten paid for this. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. Wink. Yes, but these organizations support fellow Hispanics to help them set themselves for success, because starting a business might look nice and all easy breezy, but it's not. You need help. And how can you do this correctly? This is where you can always reach out. If you see someone that is doing a little better than you, ask them for a coffee so you can have some share of the minds, rather than just like get together for a beer and do nothing. Get together, learn from them. What are their struggles? Because, like you said, there's no overnight success. It usually takes a several amount of failures to hit that success.
Mm-hmm.
And those failures is what you don't put out there. But actually, from those failures is when you grow and learn more. The person that when we started, you remember back in the day, a few years ago, right after the pandemic, to do the courses and the speaking engagements. From there to now, we have evolved and grown so much, Antonio, and I cannot wait to see what the future has in store for us.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of things have changed for the better. A lot of lessons learned along the way. It hasn't always been fun. It hasn't always been it has always been real, but it hasn't always been real fun. And but we learn a lot along the way and make adjustments. Mm-hmm. So I know there's a lot more great things coming in the near future for sure, for anyone who's willing to participate in the game, right? You got to be in the game.
Some skin in the game, my friend. Skin in the game.
Be in the game. Get in the right game. That's number one.
Correct.
Number two, be in the game once you make that decision. Number three, get a system, understand the rules of the game, get a system that will get you to a victory in the game. And for those days that make you question whether you are playing the right game, you have to be in a community that will not only support you when you're down, but also hold you accountable to the things that you said you were going to do, way past the time that feeling of I'm going to do this. The excitement has passed. So those are the things that matter. First you got to have a target, and I'm going in a little tangent here, but I think it applies. You got to have a target that is clear to you. And number two, you have to, get a system to get you to that target, not just shooting from the hip every day and kind of feeling your way through the system, through the market. Have a system so you don't feel your way through the market. Number three, you have to take massive actions, not one action, but multiple actions each and every day, even when you don't feel like it. And for all that to happen, find your right community for you. Be around people who have a drive to do more, to be more, to have more, just like you, who will support you when you're down, who will pick you up and slap you a little bit and dust you off and say, look, man, you said this is what you wanted to do. Let's go. I believe in you. And those people will keep you accountable for the things that you said you were going to do. We are, as human beings, we're outstanding at rationalization.
Yes.
I didn't do this because of this. I was going to go to that event, but it's raining. I was going to call the person, but I got held up doing other things. I need to rearrange my desk. I don't want to call at 4:00 because it's interrupting the last hour of somebody's production. It's rationalization.
Yes.
Right? So we're outstanding at that. So that community will help you stop that nonsense, because it's all nonsense. It's excuses that you give yourself to rationalize away or reason. Rationalize is creating a reason as to why you didn't do something versus why you did something. So those are the four things, the target, the system, massive actions, and an amazing community. So I hope this helps people. I hope that hearing this again, it helps me, because a lot of things that I say is not for anybody else. It's just to remind myself that that's what I should be doing. And what a better time to do this reminder during Hispanic Heritage Month. So tell me, Johanna, unless you have something else to add to that, I also want to hear about the details of the upcoming event that you're producing for the second year in a row.
Yes, the details are as follows. It's going to take place on September 20th, which is a Friday. This year, we're going to make it more a celebration and award, which is going to take place at night. Last year was a luncheon, but this time it's a celebration and award ceremony. It's going to kick off at 6:30 p.m., with a reception at the newly renovated Grove Lounge at Citrus Club. Then following that, with some hors d'oeuvres and, something to celebrate, a little libations, we will go and start the three-course dinner designed by Chef Ernesto at the Citrus Club. And then we will start with the award ceremony where we will be granting awards for both the trailblazers that are paving the way, for the younger generations, the people that are already also making an impact with the executive leadership in different categories this year. That's what is changing from last one. Last year, we just had the executive leadership. Now this year we have it, but in the community, in the arts, also in the philanthropy aspect, and in the business and entrepreneurial. And the one that I love the most is the lifetime legacy, because I believe that we need to celebrate those people that made the way for us to be here. And sometimes we forget. We think that, oh, this is how it started. No, someone had to, like we say in Spanish, abrir un campo con machete, come and open this for us to come, just like we are doing for the people that are behind us, the same thing. So, and also, as it's a Hispanic celebration after all, after the ceremony, there is an after party where we will have some entertainment for our delight. So I cannot wait. You can find it on Eventbrite if you need to, or if not, reach out to the concierge station at Citrus Club to get your tickets. And of course, none of this would have been possible with the support of fellow Hispanic entities. Valley Bank, it's supporting this event this year as the presenting sponsor, and they have been pivotal for this event to take place. They also got involved last year, and they saw how the potential of this is, especially in our community, that they're supporting us again for a second year in a row.
That's fantastic. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the link to Eventbrite and the phone number to the Citrus Club in the comments below this event. So it'll be easy for people to connect.
Yes.
But, register fast, register today, and register often. So you can be there for this
and
amazing.
Share with your community, because when we celebrate together, everything gets better.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Anything else we want to share with us before we part, Johanna?
No, just nothing. I'm very grateful for you to have me back. And hey, let's make this last months of the year amazing. Let's crush it. It's still time to get your goals.
100%. It is not the time to let your foot off the gas. This is a time to lean into what you say you were going to do back.
Pedal to the pedal, man.
That's right. You were excited in December or in January. Stay excited because this is fourth quarter coming up, baby. Fourth quarter coming up. So anyway, listen, I appreciate you making the time for this, Johanna. Great things are happening. I'm glad you're succeeding. And I know that the best is yet to come. So if you got value out of this conversation, this episode of LatProXperience, make sure that you like, share, subscribe to the podcast. We have over 80 episodes right now. Amazing content. Thank you very much. Over the last few months, really, because it hasn't been a year yet, and you'll find the podcast in all the big platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Google. Google podcast went away. This is YouTube now. Apple. Forget about it. Anywhere that you can find a podcast, you can find LatProXperience. Of course, we go live on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. as well. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and share because it's important to disseminate this information. If you find value, share it with somebody. Somebody told me that if you have the solution to a big problem, if you don't share it, you, my friend, are part of the problem. That's what I was taught over 20 years ago, and that got grooved in my brain.
Say that again,
I'm saying it again. I'm going to say it again. Are you ready? If you have the solution to a problem affecting other people, if you don't share it, you are part of the problem. So, like, share, subscribe, and we look forward to the next episode of LatProXperience, where we talk about the entrepreneurial success through the Latino lens. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.